Feels like we're dipping back into the well of videos that we post here on the channel. However, I believe Kirk Cousins trade rumors are at an all-time high right now because of one team's absolute ineptitude at the quarterback position. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, I'm going to tell you why there is one team that needs Kirk Cousins and why a second team could absolutely want Kirk Cousins, because the need for a quarterback right now is at an all-time high for the Cincinnati Bengals. What, Moose, didn't you already do a Cincinnati Bengals trade rumors? Yes, but that was before we saw Jake Browning play. And that was also before these stats came out. And believe it or not, this is before the Broncos game. So mind you, the statistics here have gotten worse before the Broncos game. But this is what it looked like right before Monday Night Football this week. Yards per game, dead last. Passing yards per game, 27th. Rushing yards per game, 32nd. Points per game, 24th. The Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to put it lightly, are a trash fire, a dumpster fire, whatever you want to call it. They suck like a vacuum cleaner. And Ari Mirov is a NFL reporter and kind of an aggregator, like producer Alpert just said. Thank you for that word. But he also, from time to time, has some really interesting statistics. The Bengals, by the way, have 200 yards rushing as a team in 4 games. For context, 24 players in the NFL have more than that on their own. So that's really, really bad. If you want even more evidence as to how bad the Cincinnati Bengals are, here you go. In the 2 games that Joe Burrow has not started for the Cincinnati Bengals, because it has been 2 games that he has not started, the Bengals have been outscored 76-13, and that's hysterically bad. They are averaging 6.5 points per game under Jake Browning. And I think Zach Taylor on the sidelines, looking like this, kind of captures how every single Cincinnati Bengals fan feels. We have a bunch of Cincinnati Bengals fans here in the company because we have an office in Cincinnati, and they are all like, dude, we need Kirk Cousins badly. I can't tell you how many messages I have gotten from Bengals fans in our office that are like, are you ready to trade Kirk Cousins now? Because the truth is, they need him. They need competency at the quarterback position. And I'm sure the first thing in your mind right now is this: I want Kirk Cousins as my backup. And I get it. I understand why you say that, because Kirk is easily the best backup in the league. However, who is the one Falcons legend that is calling for Kirk to be traded? Number 84, Roddy White. Think it's about time for the Bengals to call Atlanta, give up a second or a third for Kirko, because this looks bad. He tweeted this out during the Monday Night Football game. And if Roddy White is saying it looks bad, my friends, it's bad. I trust Roddy White's opinion. Falcons, a legend, Roddy White. So let me paint you a picture here. The Cincinnati Bengals call up our friends, Terry Fontenot and Arthur Blank, and they say, what's it going to take to get our friend Kirk Cousins off the books? And like I said, I'm fine with keeping Kirk. But if that call happens and we have all the leverage and there's a price that we just cannot refuse, I'm doing it. So Roddy White said it himself, but I'm going to break it down a little bit further for you. What is the Roddy White trade idea? How about this? The Bengals receive Kirk Cousins, and the Falcons receive a 2026 third-round pick, and they take on half of Kirk's salary expense. So we give up half of what we'd be paying Kirk Cousins this season, and we get a third to give up a backup quarterback. I'm telling you right now, if we got this deal, I am sending him off in a heartbeat, because not only do you get extra draft capital, but what you also get in return is far greater than even just one draft pick. And I'll tell you what that is coming up here in just a little bit. Is it finally time to trade Kirk? I say yes. I'm officially on the trade Kirk train. Before I played Switzerland, I was a little more neutral. Now I'm saying if there's a third-round pick on the table for a guy who just last year we were saying didn't have any trade value whatsoever, I'm absolutely calling for the trade. But before that, let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's talk about the other reason why I believe Kirk could be traded. It has to do with another team here in the AFC North. Notice the Cincinnati Bengals, even though they suck balls on the offensive side, are still second in the AFC North standings, which is odd considering the Baltimore Ravens, who everybody thought was going to be at the very top of that standings, they're 1-3. They're also dealing with their own quarterback issues, not nearly to the degree of what Joe Burrow is dealing with, but Lamar Jackson seems to be out for a substantial period of time, at least a couple of weeks. Here's what Blog and Dirty, one of my favorite Atlanta Falcons blogs, said about the Ravens. With Lamar Jackson out for a few weeks, the Baltimore Ravens could join the sweepstakes for an intriguing bidding war between two AFC rivals. Both teams are missing their franchise quarterbacks for the near future. But even a day 2 pick, like White suggested, feels steep. A 4th or a 5th round is more realistic. But here's what I'll disagree with. The Ravens are panicking. I think they absolutely know that they're in win-now mode. And without a competent quarterback, and Lamar is beyond competent, he's a superstar, but without at least some sort of competency at the quarterback position, the Ravens are looking at staring down the barrel of 1-4 or 1-5, and then the season is virtually lost. And remember when I brought up that trade just a couple of minutes ago where I said there's another reason why I believe outside of draft capital that the Falcons could absolutely trade him right now? It's because he costs $27.5 million against your cap space. If you traded Kirk, you could cut that in half. So let's just say part of that deal with the Bengals or with the Ravens is that they take on half of Kirk's expense. That's almost $14 million off the cap. Could you imagine the type of players or one player that you could sign or trade for? Imagine trading for someone and giving them a 1-year extension, somebody that is worth somewhere around the $12 to $13 million per year mark. There are so many endless possibilities. Maybe it's a corner. Maybe it's another offensive lineman. Maybe it's another weapon for Michael Penix Jr. I don't care who it is, but there's so many upsides to trading Kirk Cousins that don't just involve the 2026 NFL draft. Because the truth is that this Falcons team, while inconsistent, still has an opportunity to win their division. The NFC South is wide open. And that means that any type of advantage that they can get, whether it be in salary cap or in draft capital, is completely advantageous to the Dirty Birds. And I don't want to hear that we have a great backup. Because if Michael Penix Jr. stays healthy for the entirety of the season, all you're doing is biding time with Kirk Cousins. That's it. So if you trade him and get a third and cut half of that salary in half right now, because I highly doubt there's going to be a team that wants to take that out and take that on in full, you could make your team look so much better, not just on paper, but on the field as well. So you tell me who the better option is right now. Right now, it's the Bengals, for me at least. The Ravens, I don't think, are desperate enough or stupid enough to give up a third. I think the Bengals are. So I'm typing my CINs for Cincinnati. But either way, you let me know in the comment section down below which one you think. If it's time to finally trade Kirk Cousins, please let me know. If it's time to finally be done with the Kirk Cousins era and float beautifully into the Michael Penix era, then type that T for trade. Rise up, Dirty Birds fans, because more videos coming your way. And be cool.